Welkom terug allemaal. Ik hoop dat jullie van een lekkere lunch genoten hebben. We zetten het symposium voort met de inspirerende CEO en topman van het beursgenoteerde CYBER1. Hij is speciaal uit Londen overgevlogen om de strategische doelstellingen van dit bedrijf uit de doeken te doen hier in de RAI. Kobus Paulsen.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Irene. Sorry for the slight delay over here, but it's definitely not to do with me this afternoon. But I'm delighted to be speaking to you all this afternoon on the topic of cybersecurity. I think from CYBER1's point of view, it's a serious topic, not just from an investor angle, but every single aspect of our lives these days concern cybersecurity. For those of you, they are doing a translation. So if I need to slow down, I can speak very quickly, or I can slow it down for the translator to keep up with me this afternoon. Cybersecurity so often is all about protection. But what CYBER1 brings to the market is actually all about resilience. And that deals with the before, the during, and the after an event. That is a big issue for companies, because typically you would always only hear about something that has actually happened, and that's always too late. Your reputation as it shatters, and also your company could be suffering quite significantly. Just 1 second, here we go. Make sure we're on the same page. Thank you. As normal with a public listed company, I obviously have to remind you on certain disclosures, specifically in our forward-looking statements and issues that I might be sharing with you this afternoon. All very exciting, so don't get too worried about that. CYBER1 is a snapshot. We listed on NASDAQ in Sweden under the symbol CYBE1, and we also listed on NASDAQ through the OTC market in New York under the symbol CYBNY, where it trades as an ADR. This slide represents a particular snapshot of what we are as a company, but the key elements are about 319% growth since last year. That is above, well and beyond the industry average for cybersecurity companies. That takes us to a revenue of around 44 million euros, and that's a conservative estimate as to where we actually anticipate to end up this particular year. But the key element of that is furthermore that it's 69% organic growth. Business that we had last year that have developed in itself 69%. And it's relevant for me because the previous year we only achieved 20% organic growth. That is compounded by some acquisitions that we've completed. That takes us actually on a third quarter to third quarter growth of 113%. We also expect that our fourth quarter would actually be even more spectacular as that. We also currently represent and offer almost 100 different products, and the relevance of that I will share with you in the next few minutes. For a high-tech company, we've turned profit. That's a very unusual statistic and development in such a fast and high growth market. That was also achieved through the acquisition that we've had to date, comprising of a total of 11, and a few more that you would have seen we've announced publicly that we're busy completing. So all in all, as a snapshot of what we're about, is roughly a run rate of about 100 million euros in revenue and strong profitability in a fast-growing and high-demand cybersecurity sector. We perform well above any of the industry metrics as far as performance is concerned. Those financials in particular, whichever way you look at them, paint a pretty picture. Most importantly for us is the break into profitability. All of our advisors have cautioned us against the break into profitability because of the high-tech nuance that we have in the business. However, we are very proud to have broken into that profitability cycle and actually are confident in maintaining that cycle through 2019. What we anticipate is that of the 100 products that we actually offer as a company, through our advisory service and through managed services, that if you look across all of our thousands of customers, we currently offer 95% of them only one of our products. So the clear objective for us is over the next few years to establish the mechanisms and the operation to offer and increase that to at least 3 different products over the next 3 years to a third of our customer base. So all of that contribution drops right down to our bottom line and will continue to give us a strong EBITDA for the business as we go on. This is a conservative outlook, and I should say that, compared with if I was to stand here last year and say to anybody in this audience, we will do a 50% growth. In fact, 319 is a top performance in our sector. So what is it that we really do? Everybody talks about cybersecurity, and people think they just compromise your email, steal your identity, and then hack into your bank account. The aspects of cybersecurity are so vast, and it touches every single part of every organization and of everybody in this audience. And the complexities of that continues to increase. Us as an organization covers the entire spectrum of what cybersecurity is all about. We like to prepare organization for the eventuality of when things are actually going to go wrong. It's only a matter of time of when it will happen. It's a certainty that it will happen in some part of any organization, or dare I say, any one of your personal lives and situations. The compromise for the big guys, specifically the banks, is simple. Their insurance, their ability to deal with the situation is obviously a lot more sophisticated than somebody with a small bank account and somebody just stealing 500 euros from that bank account. That will become more and more commonplace. This year we'll see the first time that more than 50% of the global population will actually have access to the internet. As we all know, it's a steady statistic that a certain percentage of every population has criminal intent. And therefore, that criminality is now expanded from a local, regional basis onto the internet. And it's easier for the guy to not steal a couple of chickens somewhere in a remote jurisdiction, but now actually target any one of you in this audience to take 500 euros or 100 euros even from you. So that audience and threat continues to grow as penetration of internet grows with it. Furthermore, the Internet of Things. Everything in your house, in your car, your watch, everything connects to the internet. And all of those points become access points to your personal lives and your financial information, if that's the only thing you want to protect. However, your reputation is even more important than the money that you have in your bank account. So as a proposition, the top part of the slide just outlines all of the various aspects of cybersecurity. We so often hear about the hacking and the phishing, demandware, which is a typical thing where somebody takes your organization hostage and demands a couple of bitcoins for you to pay them before they release your information back to you. That's a growing trend, and certainly something that also now touches people's personal lives more and more. We deal with all of those. Some areas we have more experience in and operations in, but essentially it's the entire spectrum that as a service proposition to the market, you need to cover today. And we are one of the few firms that actually offer that. And then furthermore, so who do we actually service? Who are our clients? And it's all of the verticals from Ministry of Defense, large financial institutions, medium-sized corporations, where I particularly and personally feel lies the biggest threat. It's the small business in a community that can be compromised and wiped out. A statistic shows that more than 60% of small businesses that have been compromised in the last 24 months have gone out of business 6 months after they've been compromised. That's an alarming statistic. People suffer to recover from cybersecurity. All of our clients are long-term. And paging onto a sample of some of those, from Coca-Cola to large banks that we service, I take pride in the fact that cybersecurity is a number one relationship that any organization should have. It should rank at the same level as lawyers and your auditors. It's the people that you go to when you have a difficult situation to deal with. And you need to know that you have the best possible people with you to help you through that situation. Your reputation is priceless. And organizations should take that a lot more serious than what they do these days. Of the last couple of acquisitions that we've made, and some of them are more than 10 years old as operations, of the last 3, none of them have ever lost a customer. I mean, that's an alarming thing if you think about the competitive nature as to where we are with technology as a whole. But it shows the service proposition and the importance of that relationship that we have with our customers. The further point to touch on deals with accreditations. Not anybody can enter this market. It's an extremely high barrier to entry. Like lawyers and accountants, you can't just go and practice cybersecurity in a particular country. You need to be certified to operate and do the things that we do as cybersecurity professionals within each one of those jurisdictions. There are only 12 companies in the world that carry global coverage for complete certification in every single jurisdiction. We are one of those 12 companies. It's a difficult thing to maintain because it's not just the corporation that needs to be certified. It's all of the individuals within that corporation that's dealing with the particular issues that also need certification. So 1 in 12 is what CYBER1 is all about. To give you a flavor of who the other 11 companies are, AT&T and Cisco. They are enormous companies, but they have that certification more to deal with their particular product rather than the service offering that we offer to our customers. A key part of our growth comes from acquisitions. As mentioned, we've completed 11 acquisitions to date. It's a model that we've perfected in order to acquire entrepreneurs. But we have some very hard golden rules as to what those acquisitions look like. They must be 4 years old. So this is not a startup or something that is pre-revenue at all. We don't buy anything that's for sale. It's a hard thing to mention, but we actually originate all of our own transactions. We find these companies. The drivers for these acquisitions are really around 3 things. Number 1, buying a customer base. Number 2, the people supporting those customers, which are so key in this industry because there are a phenomenal shortage of cybersecurity professionals everywhere in the world. And then thirdly, we're buying a going concern revenue business. So those elements compounded to 11 acquisitions that we've done to date. We have a further 20 targets that we are progressing and seek to continue acquiring over the next year or so to come. Some a little bit quicker than others, but we also decide on these as to how we focus our growth geographically. So Europe in particular will be a big focus for us in 2019 in purchasing and acquiring some European-based businesses. And in fact, one year in Amsterdam. So can't always keep our standards that high. Looking at what the acquisitions will do to us as a business, and again, a rather conservative outlook from an analyst's perspective. The numbers over here are effectively as reported by independent analysts in the market. But the key point for me over here in 2019 and our projection is the slide or the component on the left-hand side, which now also puts us as a big revenue play into the European market, but also shows our entry into the United States. It's not that it's a more competitive market. I think this is a growth market with significant opportunity in every sector. However, we do need to start having a presence in the United States, and we have two key targets that we are hopeful we will complete during the course of 2019. There's a continued huge demand of cybersecurity services and products all around the world. And we continue to find ourselves right at the center point of that. So we don't see the demand of acquisitions and their individual growth slowing down at all. Also, as our revenue jaw opens up on the slide component on the right-hand side, you will see there that managed services is beginning to show a material impact. That's a significantly high gross margin component of our business. The bottom line of our business, the 73% that you see there, represents our product. That is repeat business. Every year, people just buy another license and another license and another license. We have an 87% reorder and repurchase rate currently in the group. That's significant. So that's the scalable part. That's where you just sell license after license after license. The advisory component of the business, the 21%, that's the clever people. You need the clever people. They're the ones that actually solve the problem and tell you what to do in order not to have the problem going forward. However, you can only sell him once a day. So it's not a scalable part of the component, but we see that as coming down as we progress. To give you a flavor of the products that we do, and a key element to focus your mind on here is on an average installation within a medium-sized company, you will find 20 different cybersecurity products. The concept of one size fits all just simply does not apply in the cybersecurity world. You need something for your passwords, you need something for your service, you need something for your network, something for your application, something for your mobile devices. Every aspect has a specialist type of technology protecting that. And then there's an array of those that you can choose from. So our concept, as alluded to earlier on, where most of our clients actually only uses one of our products, is certainly driving our strategy forward in selling more of the products that we have, which is almost 100, into the same installation. We have the relationship, we have the credibility in order to maintain that. Furthermore, our expansion will now go into 18 countries over next year. So we have a long way to go to service companies on a local basis. However, our customers are completely global. We have customers just about in every sector of the globe, except China, as it is today. Geographically, and politically, cybersecurity is an immensely sensitive issue. Companies are sensitive in buying software and technology, no matter how good it is, from Russia, or from Pakistan, or from India. Even Israel is under pressure in people thinking that their software provides spyware into organizations. And the reverse is also completely true with American software selling it into Middle East and other parts of the world, whereby there we go. Beg your pardon over here. Time indication over here, whereby the sensitivity of the geopolitical nature of cybersecurity is immensely sensitive. CYBER1 is seen as a neutral player, headquartered in the United Kingdom, listed in Sweden. We sort of offer a neutral base to that particular audience that I can assure you is extremely sensitive from both a deployment point of view and also a support point of view. We see a great impact on the high growth of technology in India over the last 3 decades, where everything is outsourced there, both the development as well as the after support service. That is not taking place in cybersecurity. People are supporting cybersecurity outside of those regions. So if you now no longer have the ability and scalability of finding 1,000 or 2,000 or 1 million people to support your cybersecurity that they could in India, where does that go to? It puts a huge demand on technology elsewhere in the world. Quick word about our board structure. Governance is an important issue. It's the main reason why we are a public company. We feel that our clients, partners, should know as much about us as we know about them. Transparency is important. Governance, therefore, from a board point of view, and just to mention 2 keynotes, Lord Blunkett was the former Home Secretary. That's the number 2 in the UK. But the most prominent point of all of that was that he's in charge of MI6. Those are special relationships, not just within the UK, but actually all around the world that you need to maintain. Lord St. John of Bletsoe is the Lord-in-waiting for Her Majesty, the Queen on our side, in receiving all the dignitaries from Africa, which we see as a high growth market for us over the next few years. But he's also chairman and director of the Intelligence Committee and Artificial Intelligence Committee and Cyber Committee for the UK. Those are significant people. We are shortly to announce some additions to our board, including the former chairman of Homeland Security, significant individual, and you need those people to help guide an organization like this through all of the issues that we face, not now, but 3 years from now, and how we prepare ourselves for that going forward. On my second last slide, I want to refer you to some case studies. And this is not something I can talk to you for hours about each one of these particular case studies. They are available on our website at cyber1.com. But please do have a look at and see what our customers are saying about us, what we are doing for them, and the important role that we actually perform in them running their business. It's a true testimony of what we have achieved. And again, if I link you back to companies that have never lost a client, in this particular sector, that should equate to the opportunity that actually lies within this sector. The demand continues to be significant, and it's all compounded down to people. And people have both aspects of the most important things in cybersecurity. One, the shortage of it. A normal IT guy doesn't normally just migrate to have the skills in dealing with your cybersecurity because there's criminal intent involved. IT guys are good at making sure your systems keep running, not preventing somebody from getting into them. That's a different kind of mindset. But the other aspect about personnel and people is that it's the weakest link in any organization. It's not your technology failure. It's the person that gets fired, that leaves your organization, that has knowledge about your organization, that can compromise your organization in whichever way. That's the weakest link. Technology you can trace, improve, and do better things with all the time. But that's a situation that I would encourage everybody to take more serious. When you fire someone, think about the ramifications of that action. I'm not suggesting for you not to fire people. Please carry on doing that. But just take extra caution on that. In closing, you are all investors. And this is a phenomenal opportunity for a company like ourselves to talk to you about the investing side. CYBER1, the fundamentals of this business is solid. It outperforms the market everywhere else. Sadly, our share price is sitting in the wrong exchange at this moment, but it will be shifted to the New York Stock Exchange in completeness, and we think we would get better representation of our true market value then. Nonetheless, as an investor here, my message to you here today in closing isn't just about you looking at the sector as an investment. I want you to consider cybersecurity to be a key consideration in any investment that you might make. Whether you're buying a bakery chain or whether you're buying a hotel or anything like that, what is the policy and exposure, potential exposure of that investment that you're about to make? Because I can assure you, we see this on a regular basis where a good company goes out of business because of bad practice, because of some simple things that could have been prevented very, very easily. So my message to you, cybersecurity is something that we all need to get used to. It will be with us for a long time. As people get more access to the internet, it will become more serious. Every single point of our lives connects to the internet, and therefore the vulnerability continues to increase. My last point, if you're not aware of cybersecurity, please do get aware. It is an investment opportunity. It's a sector that will grow. But also in your personal life and your company life, please do take care. Lastly, we will have some questions during the moderator session, where I'd be delighted to take any questions that you might have. But thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.